All right. Fast forward to John 4. The woman at the well. All right. Now we finna put this together. You ain't never seen the woman at the well like what I'm about to show you. Guaranteed. And it ain't me. Ain't nobody. It's just something that the Most High, you know, he said, seek me. Seek me. And when you seek him, you know, for true understanding, it's amazing the understanding that you get from the scriptures that you've been reading all this time, and you never seen it. But then again, Hosea 6:2, he's reviving us. So, you know, we'll all get it sooner or later. The ones who want it, the ones who don't, they won't see it. You know, it's almost like that Yanny and Laurel video. You know, they're playing the same recording. We're reading the same Bible. But some people hear Yanny, some people hear Laurel.
People all over the world are listening to this and arguing about it. Do you hear Yanni or Laurel?
Laurel. Laurel. Laurel.
How does anybody hear Laurel out of that? We're going to discuss ahead why the answer is so important to so many of us. You are watching CBS.
It sounds like Laurel.
You hear Laurel?
Yes.
No. Welcome back to CBS This Morning, where the Yanny-Laurel debate continues. That we're going to take it into the green room. Mark Benioff, top CEO, Dr. Samson Davis, and Charlie Jeter are coming to the table next. But guys, do you hear Yanny or do you hear Laurel? Mark Benioff, you go first.
I hear Yanny. What does it mean?
Okay. Charlie, what do you hear? Charlie Jeter?
Laurel.
Laurel.
Dr. Samson Davis, what do you hear?
Obviously, is Yanny.
Okay, they say people 25 tend to hear Yanny. If you're younger, you hear Yanny. If you're older, you tend to hear Laurel. It all has to do with your higher
Well,
frequency.
there goes that.
So there you go, Mark Benioff.
Proof you guys are so young.
We have young ears. I like it.
Ears.
I like it.
All of that.
He who has an ear, let him hear. All right. The woman at the well here, John 4. We're going to play that too. Let's do it the same way here. I'm going to come in and comment at the high points. And there's quite a few of them. But I won't be long in my commentary.
Chapter 4. When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus himself baptized not, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour.
First of all, we got Christ saying, I must go through Samaria. He's going from Judea up north to Galilee. All right? But he says, I need to go through Samaria. Well, what's strange about that? Samaria is on his way to Galilee. You got to go through Samaria to get to Galilee. You got to go through Tennessee to get to Kentucky if you're in Georgia, right? So what's the big deal? The Samaritans and the Jews didn't fool with each other, to the extent that if a Jew was going to Galilee, he would go up as far as he could go, cross over the Jordan River, come back over once he passed Samaria, and go on up to Galilee. They didn't fool with each other that much, right? So Christ saying, look, I got to go through Samaria. And the disciples looking at him like, man, what's wrong with you? You know, we don't fool with these folks. Remember in the first video we talked about Genesis 48, right? In Genesis 48, now check this out. The prophecy given to Ephraim was that truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. All right. Now we're starting to see this thing unfold. Okay. So in verse 4, he says, I got to go through Samaria, right? In verse 5, he says, then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. All right. We know Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, right? So these two were given land right here in the middle of Israel, right? Right where Jacob dug his well at. All right. So now let's tie this all in with Genesis 48. We got Jacob represented here by his well. We got the blessing that he gave to Ephraim, saying you will be a multitude of nations. Not only that, think about this. Where were these two sons born? They were born in Egypt. Their mother was an Egyptian. You're starting to get it. They were half-breeds. The father was an Israelite. The mother was an Egyptian. But Jacob, he's not going to disown his grandson, right? He's going to find a way to bring him in. So that was him adopting his grandsons into his blessings that he was going to give to his other kids. All right? Now we getting somewhere. Now we getting there. So we got Jacob, well, Christ coming to the land of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. If you look at a map, you see that this well sits right on the border of the two. In Ephraim, but it's right on the border of Manasseh. All right. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's remember the blessing that he gave to Ephraim. Let's get it in Genesis 48. Let's get it again. And let's tie all this in. Now we've only in verse 5. We got a long way to go, but it's getting good. Let's see what Genesis 48. Let's see what that said about that blessing. Verse 19. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. And he also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. Now we're talking about Ephraim here, right? Ephraim, the northern tribe, was sometimes called Ephraim. Why? Because Jeroboam, who was given the 10 tribes when it was taken from Solomon, he's a what? Ephraimite. He's from the tribe of Ephraim. And he was the king. That's why sometimes Israel is called Ephraim. All right? All right. So that was the blessing. He shall also become a people, and he shall also be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. All right. Let's see what happens.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Jesus saith unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that saidst thou truly.
Okay, the first thing I want to get is show the confirmation of what we spoke about in the last dialogue, where we established the relationship between the Samaritans and the Jews. You can see it play out here in this woman's voice. You know, her tone. How be it that you, being a Jew, ask me, some woman of Samaria, a Samaritan woman at that, for a drink? You know we don't fool with each other. You know y'all don't fool with us. How you gonna ask me for a drink? That just kind of confirms what we talked about last time. And the Jews really didn't fool with them, because they knew that these were no longer Israelites in the northern kingdom. It was something different. It was that people that Jacob told Ephraim he'd become, a multitude of nations. They're no longer Israelites, pure Israelites. They're something else. That they are Israelites plus the 5 cities that mixed in with them that King Hoshea brought in during the exile. All right. Now, you've all heard countless sermons of the woman at the well and the spiritual aspects of the water and all that. That's not anything I want to get into. But I do want to pick it up where he says, go get your husband. Now, he said that's for a couple of reasons. One, like she said, first of all, Jews were not supposed to talk to the Samaritans. They were unclean, to the point where they say if a Samaritan shadow fall on you, you're unclean. But anyway, he told her to go get her husband for a couple of reasons. He wasn't supposed to be talking to her without a husband in public. He's a Jew. Howbeit you, being a Jew, asked me for a drink. And he's a rabbi. Rabbis weren't supposed to talk to Samaritans, period. Right? So she said, I don't have a husband. And he said, you got that right. You've had 5. Now, in the natural, I'm sure this woman probably had 5 husbands. I don't know what happened to them. The scripture didn't say. But I'm sure she knows she had 5 husbands. But in the spiritual, he's referring to the 5 husbands that they have committed adultery with back in 2 Kings 17. 2 Kings 17 said, they feared the Most High, but they worship their own God. They went through the motions and the customs of worshiping the Most High God, yet they gave all the praise to their God. We're going to praise our gods like the Most High requires here in this land. But we're still going to worship you, Saka Benoth. We're still going to worship you, Nargal. We're still going to worship you, Ashima. But we're just going to change the service up a little bit. We're going to do it like the priest told us to do it. Right? Now that's a shadow of what's going on today in the church. One, Christ never told us to worship on Sunday. That's not his day. That's not the day he gave. He made holy and sanctified. Jesus is not Christ's name. Once we realize that, once you start putting different characteristics on Christ, you're giving him another name, you're giving him another day, you're saying the law is done away with, you're saying that his birthday is December 25th. Look up December 25th. See how many gods are worshipped on December 25th. See how many birthdays the gods are. You got a phone. Do it right now. Find out how many gods' birthday is December 25th. When we know Christ's birthday was not December 25th, because it says that when he was born, the shepherds were watching over the sheep at night. Now, even in Jerusalem, we know it's too cold December 25th to be watching over your sheep at night. I've showed several times where he said, think not that I've come to destroy the law. We know he didn't destroy the law. Yet we say the law is done away with. Christ gives us, there's a special verse that I think it's only in one of the Gospels. But you never heard your preacher preach on it. He said, I come in the Father's name, and you accept me not. But another will come in his own name, and you'll accept him. Jesus is that name. How do we know his name wasn't Jesus? Because I showed you on other videos that the letter J was not even invented until the 1600s, 1500s, well, no, 15, 16, either one. So how was his name Jesus? If Michael Jordan came out of retirement and is in the news in China, they wouldn't change his name to Jung Lee. They say Michael Jordan came out of retirement today. You don't change, that's a rule of English. You don't change proper nouns. The names are proper nouns. So why in the world would we change his name to Jesus? He says so many times, if you do this in my name, pray in my name, anything you ask in my name. But we praying in Jesus' name. Why do you think he say, many will come to me in that day and say, Lord, haven't I cast out demons? Haven't I done many great works? Haven't I did this and that? And he will say to them, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. I never knew you. Ye workers of iniquity. Why? Why ye workers of iniquity? Why such harsh words? If I'm doing all this good stuff, what is iniquity? Iniquity is sin. Sin. What is sin? Transgression of the law. What does Matthew chapter 5 verse 19 say? If you teach men that the law is done away with, ye should be called least in heaven. So if you're teaching that and you're practicing that, that is sin. That is ye workers of iniquity. I want you need to get this. See, if the law is done away with, then what are you going to be judged by? What criteria will you be judged by in heaven? What's the checklist? Did you do this? Did you do that? What are you going to be judged by? If the law is done away with, then why does your pastor keep talking about sin? There's no such thing as sin if there's no law. What are you repenting from? Think. It's that strong delusion. Anyway, let's get back to it. The 5 husbands Christ was referring to, the spiritual husbands that they have committed adultery with, that they have lain with and fornicated with, mixed in their practices with what the Most High commissioned. Now you got something else. Spiritual adultery that they've committed with these other gods. And that's what he's referring to. Now, keep that in mind as we listen to the rest of it. All right.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain, nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. The woman saith unto him, I know that Messiah cometh, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Jesus saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. And upon this came his disciples, and marveled that he talked with the woman. Yet no man said, What seekest thou, or why talkest thou with her? The woman then left her water pot, and went her way into the city, and saith to the men, Come, see a man, which told me all things that ever I did. Is not this the Christ?
Jumping back in, she said, Sir, I perceive that ye are a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where we ought to worship. Okay. Now, she's telling the truth. Jacob's well is there. She's not lying. But what she is neglecting to realize is that there's been hundreds of years of false worship there. From the woman's point of view, our fathers was here, so we must have the truth. Mount Gerizim is here. Go back and look up Mount Gerizim. That's the mountain she was talking about. The well is here. All this stuff is here. But you say we're supposed to go to Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the original place to worship before Jeroboam said, don't go back down there. You got your calf here in Bethel. You got your calf in Dan. That's what we're going to worship. But see, all that has been lost over the years. And over the years, you start doing tradition, and the truth get lost. Same thing today. The truth is lost, and we're going through tradition. If what you're doing in church doesn't line up with this, then it's tradition. And you can show people from now to New Year's, but guess what? They want their tradition. Even if you show them that this is the time that God himself said that he awakened you. 2 days. This is the name of this video. 2 days. We get into it. Hold on. We get into it. This is why we're waking up at this time. 2 days. Prophesied. Okay. There's a verse I want to give you right quick before I say anything else. It's Jeremiah 16 and 19. Let's see. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Surely our fathers have inherited lies. The Gentiles will say that. Now, remember that verse, because I'll probably pop it up 2 or 3 more times. Maybe not on this part, because this is run out of time on this one. But you'll see it again. Now, I brought you from the Old Testament. Now we're in the New Testament. I'm going to bring you to today. Keep watching. I'm going to take us to today. All right. Now, let me get back to this real quick because there was something important here. And it's kind of personal to me because, here we go. Let's see. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Okay, 2 things right there. A brother asked me not too long ago, what do you think it means when he says worship in spirit and in truth? I didn't have an answer for him. I didn't know. The Bible says always be ready to give an answer, and I didn't know. But brother, if you're watching, flip over 2 chapters to John 6 and verse 63. It says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. This word is the spirit. It's also the truth. Like I said before, if what you're doing in church doesn't line up with what this says to do and what Christ did, then we're just like the woman at the well. And surely our fathers have inherited lies. Finish that verse out. John 4 and 23. Last part of that verse says, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. How many of us are doing this? The Bible says heaven is for a few. It says many will be deceived. Could this be why? Are we doing this? Are we worshiping in spirit and in truth? It's a question you got to ask yourself. We ain't even finished yet. I'm going to end this video right here. I'm going to stop it right here. And we'll pick up right here on the next one. I'm telling you, it's getting good. We hadn't got there yet. Please watch the next video. Please.